An opportunity now in Cleveland with a quarterback situation that, honestly, he can come out of and win the job. I think he'll do well. I really do. I think the kid works really hard. I think he loves the game of ball. And when it comes down to it, if you have a guy like that loves the game, obviously grown up around it his whole life, I think he'll be successful.
He has a tremendous luxury to change plays at the line of scrimmage and what he sees. But you got to take into account that this kid has started every game in his high school career. This kid has started every game in his college career but one. He's seen a lot of football. So it's not too many complex defenses that you could throw at him that he hadn't seen. He's seen all of them.
What happened behind the scenes in Miami last week left NFL scouts, general managers, and team owners completely shocked. Shedeur Sanders put on a performance that was so sharp, so precise, that even the most experienced talent evaluators, people who've been doing this for decades, are now second-guessing everything they thought they knew about quarterback play. The buzz started quietly on Tuesday. By Friday, it was all anyone in football circles could talk about. And now it makes total sense why Deion Sanders has been so confident about his son's NFL future. What you're about to hear could seriously shift the way you see the 2025 NFL Draft. But before getting into the details of that private session, take a second to think about this. How many times have we seen quarterbacks hyped up only to fall apart under real pressure? How often do college stars shine in the NCAA but fold when they step into the NFL's high-stakes environment? The league's history is full of QBs who looked unstoppable in college but couldn't cut it at the next level. That's exactly why what Shedeur did last week is so unbelievable. This wasn't a flashy highlight reel against weak college defenses. It wasn't a carefully edited clip designed to go viral. This was a real, high-stakes NFL-style workout, with all the pressure you can imagine. Here's what we know. About 3 weeks ago, word started to get around that Shedeur had scheduled a private workout in Miami. But this wasn't just any workout. It took place at a top-tier training facility, the kind of place where legends like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers go during the offseason to sharpen their skills. It's a spot known for its privacy and intensity, far away from media noise. But here's where things got really serious. Shedeur didn't just bring in a few position coaches or local scouts. He invited the big names, the harshest critics. These were evaluators who don't get impressed by flashy stats or famous families. Think former NFL defensive coordinators who've built entire careers on shutting down elite QBs. Think scouts who've analyzed everyone from Peyton Manning to Patrick Mahomes. And they all showed up. Every one of them. Inside the facility, the vibe was intense. 15 NFL decision makers, execs, scouts, and coaches were spread across the field. Clipboards out, stopwatches ticking, no smiles, no reactions. Just stone-faced pros who don't hand out compliments lightly. Then Shedeur walked onto the field. No hype, no background music, no cameras trying to catch a viral moment. Just him, carrying the weight of his family name and the hopes of Colorado fans everywhere. The place went silent. And what followed? That's when everything changed.
I think he's done a great job. He's a super nice kid. Those guys, the people I work with that interview him and stuff, he's a great guy. He's just got to, he's got to kind of put himself under the radar and work every day, which he seems to be doing.
The first drill looked pretty basic on the surface. 40-yard throws to stationary targets. Seems simple, right? Not exactly. These weren't college-level wideouts standing out there. They brought in former NFL receivers, guys who really understand how to create separation and run routes with pro-level precision. These are the kinds of receivers who can truly expose whether a quarterback has what it takes or not. Shedeur steps up to the line. First throw. Absolute laser. 40 yards, fast and clean. Tight spiral, right on target. Hits the receiver perfectly in stride. Scouts glance at each other, but no reactions yet. They've seen strong arms before. Then comes the second throw. Still 40 yards, but now it's a comeback route. Way more challenging. The timing has to be spot on. The throw needs to be out before the receiver even makes his cut. Shedeur doesn't just hit the pass. He reads it ahead of time, releasing the ball before the receiver even turns. When the ball lands right in the receiver's chest, just as he comes out of the break, even some of the veteran coaches are caught off guard. One scout literally drops his clipboard. And that was just the warm-up. The real challenge came next. Game simulation. Imagine this. A mock defense made up of former NFL players. Not fringe guys, but legit starters from just a couple of seasons ago. These defenders know how to bait quarterbacks, disguise their coverage, and turn up the pressure. Here's the setup. 2-minute drill, down 6 points, 85 yards to go, no timeouts. It's the kind of pressure that usually breaks college quarterbacks and separates the real ones from the hype. Shedeur lines up under center. The defense shows one look, but you can tell something's coming. There's a shift about to happen. Classic disguise to force confusion. As soon as the ball is snapped, the coverage rotates, just like expected. Most young QBs would freeze, panic, or try to force something risky, but not Shedeur. He steps up into the pocket with the kind of calm you see from seasoned pros. Eyes downfield the entire time. Then, he sees it. A tiny window, open for maybe half a second. A slot receiver breaking on a dig route, the linebacker trailing just behind. That window is so tight most college QBs wouldn't even attempt it. But Shedeur doesn't hesitate. He fires a strike right between two defenders, hitting his receiver in perfect stride. The linebacker stops mid-step, stunned. The safety trying to rotate over just shakes his head, like he can't believe what he just saw. The scouts lean in. They know they're watching something rare. And the best part? This was only the beginning.
Incredibly accurate.
Yes, he is.
He really understands not only offensive football, but he understands what you're doing as a defense, so he'll pick you apart that way. He processes quickly. Like, all those things to me are big-time attributes. And I just remember last year at this time, Bo Nix falling. People saying, hey, Bo Nix is going to be a second-rounder, and Bo Nix is not. By the way, that guy was one of the best.
But now they can't have him. The same people responsible for his slide in the draft are the ones scrambling. They called him cocky, arrogant, threw every label at him, hoping it would break him. But through it all, Shedeur stayed cool. He didn't let the noise shake him or throw him off course. His mindset never wavered. He knew exactly what he brought to the table, and no amount of criticism was going to change that. Instead of folding under the pressure, he locked in even more. Their doubt didn't shake him. It fueled him, because deep down, he knew that what he showed on that field wasn't some lucky moment. It was real. It was proof of who he is and what he's capable of becoming. And now, those same scouts are left second-guessing everything. They thought they had him figured out, but what they saw last week flipped their entire evaluation on its head. At first, they saw attitude. They saw confidence and labeled it arrogance. They judged him before really watching him. But Shedeur didn't let it affect him. Instead, he showed exactly who he is when the lights are the brightest. And now those same scouts, the ones who once questioned if he had what it takes, are sitting in silence, unsure of what they just witnessed. His performance is making waves, and suddenly their early opinions are starting to look shaky. They didn't just see a strong-armed college quarterback out there. They saw a leader, calm, smart, in total control. The more his confidence grows, the better he gets. And now, they're starting to realize they might have missed something big. What they once brushed off as ego now looks more like confidence that can't be rattled. And his ability to shine under pressure is forcing a lot of people to rethink how they evaluate talent. Every day that passes, the question gets louder. How long can they keep ignoring the guy they once dismissed? Have we ever seen a quarterback flip the narrative like Shedeur Sanders just did? How often do players get counted out because of assumptions or snap judgments? How many times is confidence mistaken for arrogance? And how much potential gets overlooked because of it? Maybe this is that turning point. Maybe those very traits we criticize in young players are actually the ones that turn them into something great. What if Shedeur is exactly the kind of quarterback the league's been missing? What if we're watching the start of something special? So what do you think? Could Shedeur Sanders be the real deal? And what kind of impact will his rise have on the 2025 NFL Draft?
Guess is they go 0-4, maybe they go 1-3. Haslam's going to come down on Sunday, October 5th. And he says, I want Shedeur to play against Minnesota. And the staff's going to say, we're in London. It's rough. Just give us one more week. We don't want Shedeur having to go overseas. It's a big ask. And so they stave off the owner for a week. Flacco loses that game. I believe Shedeur starts Sunday, October 12th.
I'll keep saying it. I believe Shedeur Sanders should play more games than any other quarterback on this roster this year because he's the only guy that I look at and say, they might have something here, because I'm telling you right now,
Big news coming out of Cleveland. Sources say the Browns ownership has made it clear they want Shedeur Sanders as their starting quarterback. According to Colin Cowherd, Sanders has quickly emerged as the frontrunner for the QB1 spot. And this isn't just talk. Word is, the owners plan to push hard on team leadership to make sure he starts right from week 1. This could be the start of a brand new chapter in Cleveland, with the talented Shedeur Sanders leading the way.
Jimmy Haslam, many believe, forced Andrew Berry and Stefanski to draft Shedeur Sanders. They drafted Dillon Gabriel probably a round or two early, hoping to get out of the Shedeur sweepstakes. So the question is, at some point, Haslam's going to come down and say, play Shedeur Sanders.
Colin Cowherd also dropped some inside info about what's going on behind the scenes. It turns out it's not just the front office pushing for the switch. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has been a major driving force in this decision. Cowherd shared that Haslam actually stepped in and pressured head coach Kevin Stefanski to go with Shedeur Sanders, even though Stefanski wasn't initially on board. In fact, Stefanski reportedly tried to stop it from happening by drafting quarterback Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, just 2 picks ahead of Sanders. But now, Haslam is once again inserting himself into the mix, pushing Stefanski and the coaching staff to start Shedeur right out of the gate. The pressure is building, and it's starting to look like Shedeur could be taking over the reins sooner than anyone expected. Still, Cowherd pointed out that despite the owner's strong push, the coaching staff and front office remain hesitant to throw Sanders in immediately. They're apparently exploring ways to ease him into the starting role rather than rushing him onto the field. But Cowherd made it clear, this move feels inevitable. The Browns' ownership is all in on Shedeur, believing he's the future of the franchise and the key to turning the team into a serious title contender. Cowherd also brought up something interesting. It's not just about what Shedeur can do on the field. The ownership sees an opportunity to make headlines. Starting Shedeur would generate serious buzz, and that seems to be part of the plan. Cowherd referenced past situations with Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson, where ownership gave their full backing even when the coaching staff had reservations. Now, it's Shedeur who's in the spotlight, and the Browns owners are betting big on his star power to bring both wins and national attention to Cleveland.
But if you believe, and many do, that the owner, he's the one that wanted Manziel, he's the one that did Deshaun Watson, he's the one that wanted Baker Mayfield. This is an ownership group that likes headlines at quarterbacks. Shedeur's a headline. Dillon Gabriel's not. I mean, look, we're paying attention to the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns GM Andrew Berry also shared his thoughts on the matter, making it clear that the team didn't bring in Shedeur Sanders just to have him ride the bench. In a recent statement, Berry stressed that Sanders was drafted with the intention of competing for the starting quarterback job. He pointed out that Shedeur has both the skill and determination to go head-to-head with the current QBs on the roster and make a strong case to be the #1 option.
Shedeur, we talk oftentimes about quarterback being the most important position in the sport. We obviously spent a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process. He's highly accurate, can play well from the pocket. Very productive college career. And
GM Andrew Berry also gave some insight into the Browns' draft approach, revealing something pretty interesting. Heading into the draft, the team had no plans to pick up 2 quarterbacks, and they definitely didn't expect Shedeur Sanders to still be available by the 5th round. But when he was still on the board, the Browns didn't hesitate. They jumped on the chance to grab him. That unexpected move shows just how much they believe in Sanders' potential. What started as a surprise pick is quickly turning into a legit battle for the starting job. Shedeur hasn't just been filling a roster spot, he's embraced the challenge from the very beginning. Since day 1 of OTAs, he's been turning heads with his calm, under pressure, accuracy, and relentless drive. Every practice has only added to the belief that Berry made the right call. Shedeur is no longer just a rookie looking to prove himself. He's a serious player in the starting quarterback race. When Sanders was chosen in the 5th round, a lot of people figured he'd be a backup at best, or maybe a long-term project. It's rare for someone picked that late to even be considered for a starting role. Usually, 5th-round quarterbacks are seen as developmental guys who need time before they're ready to contribute. But Shedeur is flipping that script. Instead of quietly learning behind the scenes, Sanders is making a clear impact during OTAS. He's confidently leading huddles, staying composed in high-pressure moments, and impressing the coaching staff with his smart decision-making. It's obvious now, he didn't come in just to watch and learn. He came to compete. His performance has changed the conversation, and he's now firmly in the mix for the starting job. What looked like a low-key draft pick at first is starting to look like a bold move with real upside. The buzz around Shedeur Sanders is growing fast, and he's become one of the most talked about players in Cleveland this offseason.
You're drafted in the 4th round or later, you're instantly running with the 2s. More often than not, even the 3rd round or later, you're more likely running with the 2s. Though Shedeur is probably going to still be running with the 4s, the coaches suggested there's going to be a fair opportunity for everybody.
NFL insider Peter Schrager says this year could be a turning point for Shedeur Sanders. Even though he was a 5th-round pick, Schrager shared that Sanders is expected to get a real shot to play, something that doesn't usually happen for quarterbacks taken in the middle rounds during their rookie year. That says a lot about how much confidence the Browns have in his potential. They're not just bringing him in to slowly develop over time. They truly believe he's ready to make an impact right away.
Quarterback is always going to be looming in every conversation. So I think they're going to want to get those guys action, Gabriel and Sanders. I think they're going to want to have one veteran quarterback. I don't know if there's a value in having both of those veteran quarterbacks and then having 2 rookies on the roster as well.
Fans are fired up as they look ahead to the upcoming open training sessions, where they'll finally get a chance to see the Cleveland Browns hit the field. And there's one name on everyone's lips, Shedeur Sanders. With ownership fully backing him, Browns fans are feeling more hopeful than ever, especially after landing one of the most exciting quarterback prospects the league has seen in a while. Shedeur has quickly won over the fan base, and the hype around him is real. No matter the age, fans across Cleveland are eager to watch him showcase his skills up close. There's a real buzz in the air. And with the front office pushing for him to lead the franchise, this year's training camp is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated in recent memory. Fans are ready to show up in full force to see Shedeur put on a show. This moment is something Shedeur has been grinding for. He's been locked in through OTAs and minicamps, even during times when things didn't quite go his way. He hasn't always gotten the number of reps he wanted, but he's kept his focus on the bigger picture. As Shedeur put it, you have to understand your situation. Whether you're getting those reps or not, it's all about how you respond. That attitude has fueled his work ethic. While others may have let those setbacks slow them down, Shedeur used it as motivation to keep pushing forward. He stayed locked in, kept putting in the work, and continued sharpening his game. Now he's steadily rising up the depth chart, and his hard work is starting to pay off. The Browns have taken notice. Shedeur has gone from being a promising rookie to becoming a key part of the team's future. With full support from ownership and growing confidence from leadership, he's no longer just a long-term project. He's the front-runner for the starting QB job. At first, there was hesitation from the front office and coaching staff, but his performance during camp has turned heads and changed minds. The story has shifted, and at this point, it's tough to imagine anyone else stepping into that starting role. The excitement around Shedeur isn't just coming from within the organization. Fans all over Cleveland are getting behind him. From the youngest fans to the lifelong diehards, the city is rallying around its new quarterback. For Browns fans, Shedeur represents more than just a player. He's a symbol of what's possible. His rise has sparked new energy throughout the community, and every day it becomes clearer that he's not going anywhere. The Shedeur Sanders era is kicking off in Cleveland, and fans are ready to follow his lead. With ownership applying pressure and Shedeur continuing to deliver, it puts the coaching staff in a tough spot. Will Kevin Stefanski stick to his guns, or will the front office's influence win out? Let me know what you think. Will Shedeur take that starting job, or does Stefanski have another plan in mind?